What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. On the Denver game, I had a frustrating night that night. I didn't think that Darvin was the reason they lost to the Nuggets, but I would say that they lost because LeBron and AD got outplayed in the clutch time again. That said, against a team like Denver that's so much better than the Lakers, I thought that they kind of played with an arm tied behind their back down the stretch by leaving one of their best and most important players on the bench. I would imagine that there was some frustration surrounding that specific incident, probably from D'Lo's camp, probably from some of the other guys in the locker room who felt like he would have given them a better chance to win. Is everyone just kind of moving on from that, dusting it under the rug, or is there any sort of like lingering doubt or frustration surrounding this coaching staff and their ability to get this team to the promised land?
So I didn't hear about any specific frustration with D'Lo not closing the game from anyone within the locker room. I did hear from talking to people around the team that they felt D'Lo should have closed the game over Cam, and that was pretty obvious. I think from the coaching staff's perspective and their pushback would have been he started 5 for 7, had 13 points, played really well in the first half. To me, that was probably his best half against Denver if you're looking at all 8 games. But I don't know, I don't think he played in the last regular season matchup. So 7 games for him against Denver, with these 2 current rosters. But that third quarter he had was kind of classic Western Conference Finals D'Lo, and you want 1 for 6 or 1 from 6 after starting 5 for 7. Only had 4 points, and I think for the Lakers there was some fear of just him kind of, not rising up to the moment in the fourth quarter. And again, I think Cam obviously didn't play well, so it makes that decision look worse. But I think from the Lakers' perspective, they felt that third quarter kind of pushed them away from going back to D'Lo in the fourth. Now, what I will say is, I heard about frustration within the locker room in terms of the defensive game plan and their inability to beat Denver in now basically 8 straight clutch games, and Denver just continuing to run the same sets, the Lakers being aware of the same sets, and LA having no answer to that. And part of that, of course, is personnel, and part of that's on the players. But in some people's opinions, part of that's also on the coaching staff and their inability to figure out Denver's offense and figure out ways to slow it. And I think there were some moments during that run that Denver went on in the fourth quarter where the Lakers maybe could have called the timeout a little bit sooner to kind of regroup, reset, and say, hey, like this is our plan of attack against their offense. We know that Anthony Davis has been very vocal about they go to these Peja actions and they completely change their offense over the last 5 to 6 minutes. We know it's coming, but we still haven't figured out a way to stop it. Darvin Ham talked about it before the game. And the fact that they continue to lose in the same way, I do think there is some frustration with the Denver matchup specifically, and some questioning of, can we beat this team? And so I think that's the lingering thing. Like even talking to Cam Reddish at shoot around yesterday before the Thunder game, he got a little frustrated. There were several Denver questions in a row, and he was like, why are we still talking about Denver? We're playing OKC tonight. And you could just tell like it's a bit of a sore subject with this group of, it bothers them that they haven't been able to beat this team over the last couple of years, or going on about a year now. So I think it's something that, who knows? We could get a 1-8 matchup with the Lakers and the Nuggets, and some of these questions have to be answered sooner than later. But Denver is the roadblock for them right now, and they still haven't figured out, I think, a clear answer in terms of who are our 5 guys in this matchup and how are we going to defend the Jokic Murray 2-man game. And until they solve those 2 problems, I think Denver just clearly has their number, and that's a very advantageous matchup for them.
As it pertains to Cam Reddish, I almost feel bad for him because it's like he's being set up to fail. He's being put into a really high leverage, like difficult job that high level NBA players struggle with from time to time. And here's the thing, like kind of similar to the Taurean Prince thing, where he's been kind of used in a significantly larger role than he has for the most part of his NBA career. That's kind of the issue here with Cam. Cam has been a somewhat of a failed lottery pick in the sense that he hasn't been able to live up to expectations. To me, he is very much a developmental prospect. He is a guy that you give opportunities in the middle portions of games for maybe a shift per half, maybe even less than that. He's a guy that you're working with a ton behind the scenes with skill development and trying to see if maybe you can squeeze more of his potential out of him. And he is being put into a significant role on a serious basketball team. That is a situation where more often than not, he's going to fail to live up to expectations. And so I honestly feel bad for him because he's just being miscast. And that to me was the most frustrating part of that Denver game, was like, there are going to be times, there might even be a time in this playoff run where it's like, man, we're just a little too slow for this particular group. We might need to close with Austin out or close with D'Lo out and go with another wing. But that should look like something like a Vando in that lineup, or maybe Taurean Prince is at the 2 because of a specific length or size matchup, or maybe that's even Vando and Rui on the floor at the same time. It would be for another really good player. It'd be for another one of the Lakers' top 6 guys. It wouldn't be for a developmental project. And that's where it just, I feel like I genuinely feel bad for him, because like now Cam Reddish has to sit and get questioned about how he didn't do a good enough job against Denver. And it's like, bro, he's being set up to fail. Like, that's a really difficult spot to be put in. So I kind of felt bad for him. On the defensive game plan side, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, like, I don't think Darvin is up to the tactical challenge. So like a lot of this, I really do think LeBron and AD have to cede more control, be more vocal, be more willing to fight for what they believe is the best part of or their best strategy for any specific defensive matchup. They do a lot of communicating on the floor already. And that's the thing. Like, I want LeBron and AD to be like, hey, AD, you got to guard Jokic. And then put me on AG and put Rui over here, or whatever it is you need to do to move it around. I want them to kind of take some more of that responsibility, because at the end of the day, like, just sitting around and letting Darvin make those types of decisions, him kind of overcoaching this year has been a big part of why they've been mediocre compared to their potential. He was the one right after the in-season tournament that ditched everything that got them the in-season tournament win, and then they promptly went 3-10. He is the one that in a lot of these cases is ignoring guys that can make shots on the perimeter and letting them get into a rhythm. There needs to be, in my opinion, more of a assertive approach from LeBron James and Anthony Davis on that side of things.